Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the tournament wrap-up brought to you by Hi-Rez Studios. My name is OctanePro, and tonight we're going to go ahead and go over this past week's tournaments with the North American and EU scene. Both were the Hi-Rez weekly tournaments that you see right here on this stream. Yesterday we had the North American, and today we had the EU tournament. So let's go ahead and jump into it for this past week. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of our brackets. So as you can see here, we have the North American bracket up in front of us at the current moment. We had a great, actually, first round, during the first round, we had a few exceptions there with the buys. First round buys consists of Denial Esports, Reason Gaming, Panda Bears, Exeter's Esports, Cognitive Gaming, and One More Wave. Keep in mind, guys, that the seats do come down to your participation in previous tournaments and your placings, so that determines if you get a buy on the next weeks and so on and so forth. Let's go ahead and take a look at the results here. So we did have third and fourth place Denial Esports versus Cognitive Gaming NA, and we also had in the grand finals Reason Gaming versus Team-Dignitas. Taking a look at the route that Reason Gaming did follow for this past week on Saturday, the 2nd of November. First round bye, second round they had Panda Bears, and third round they had Denial Esports. Now for Team-Dignitas, the opponents, they started out playing SMITE boards in round 1, Exeter's Esports in round 2, and finally Cognitive Gaming in round 3. Jumping to the grand finals of the Hi-Rez Weekly North American Tournament. As I said before, we had Reason Gaming versus Team-Dignitas. In game 1, we had Reason Gaming going ahead and selecting Tyr, Agni, Anher, Ymir, and finally Ares. The bans for game 1 versus their opponents Team-Dignitas were Guan Yu and finally Athena. Team-Dignitas went ahead and picked up Zhang Kui, Bacchus, Hebo, Fenrir, and finally Hades. And their bans this week were Sobek and Mercury. Jumping into game 1 of the grand finals of the Hi-Rez Weekly North American Tournament from yesterday. In mid-game, we saw a nice team fight in mid lane directly outside of Reason Gaming's mid tower that seemed to set the pace of the game, where we see Reason Gaming go 3-0 in that team fight with a great demonstration of using teleport with Agni to go ahead and seal the deal. Let's go ahead and take a look at that event that did occur.
This game. Second game in a row where Pecky's electing to go Witchstone. So the tanks each electing to go for a first item aura over boots.
Yeah, strangely enough, I mean, like you mentioned, Shadow Q did skip boots last time, went right into the Magi's Blessing, and I believe he went right into Witchstone after that, just for the physical protection and a little bit of the movement speed there to counteract the fact that you don't have boots. It seems like if you're not going to go boots, you probably should get Witchstone for the tankiness and then, of course, for the damage protection that you have there. There goes Initiation, top of Talkie. Ragnarok looks like it's just about to end. He turns around just in time. Ares' ultimate, does he have anything to defend it? No, the Impale comes out in time to force him back. He didn't have anything anyway, but gets pulled in tower range, and Fenrir will die. Dunk from the Tyr, going after the Hebo. Does he have a crushing wave? He's not going to use it just yet. Looks like he's trying to get it in line, going after Pecky's. Pecky's pretty low here. Impale comes out, not going to land. Desert Fury comes through as well. The crushing wave will go through Snoopy, trying to jump away. Zatman has fallen. Hebo by himself. Does he have a water spout? No. He will fall down to the flame wave from the Anya. 3-for-0 exchange in favor of Reason Gaming. They have turned this 3-3 game around to be 6-3. They're going to go to the Gold Fury. This is going to change their 254 gold deficit into about a 1,200 gold lead. Reason Gaming has turned this around.
So as you can see there, beautiful job by Agni going ahead and sealing the deal using the teleport ability to jump back to the tower. And this is a consumable, guys. He jumps back to the tower, then goes ahead and jumps in, uses it for meteors in order to go ahead and help out on her as he's leaping directly into lane to go ahead and seal the deal with the help of Ares. So there's a great job there mid-game. Let's go ahead and take a look now moving into late game of the game 1 of the grand finals of the North American tournament here. So late game, Team-Dignitas starts to do what they do best. They adapt to their opponents and take advantage of their weaknesses. At about the 24-minute mark, with a great Gold Fury collapse, which snowballed into a Throne Room Minotaur push directly after it. Where there we see some technical difficulties, which ended up with Team-Dignitas actually winning the game. So we'll explain a little bit more after this, but let's go ahead and take a look at the last few minutes of that game here. Let me go ahead and bring that up. Stick with me one second here, guys. And here we go. Jumping in.
Think they are, and they have to be a little bit less cocky to take them out here. Fender taking a lot of harassment here. Tier not going to go in on that one. Looks like the Gold Fury is available. So is the Fire Giant here at the 23-minute mark. Funball actually going to head over this way into the jungle. Snoopy going to grab up this Gold Fury and get this started up. There is a ward down for Dignitas. They're going to spot that out there, at least that way. There goes the Blink. There goes the Fist of the Gods. The initiation with the cleave there, forcing back a stun from Audi. The Zhongkui ultimate coming out. Going to do some AoE here. There's a Shibboleth ultimate in response. They're going in, and that's Funball going to get forced back. And the Vengeance comes on through as Fenrir goes down on Amir. Now going to Pecky's. Pecky's running through the jungle. The overhand smash, or sorry, the jump over from the Fenrir will force him back. A 2-for-0 exchange right now. And now we see Tyr going home. We see Audi going home. Onher's in the mid lane. And now, when Reason Gaming had the positioning, they had the goal free, they pulled it out. It's going to go to Dignitas.
Let's talk against another meteor.
Alrighty, guys. So what ends up happening here is we do end up seeing the Team Dignitas goes ahead and takes that Gold Fury, gets a few kills out of it as well. Followed up from that, they go ahead and Team Dignitas goes ahead and pushes directly into the throne room of the Minotaur, where we actually have some technical difficulties. I believe it was server side or directly just with the game. Don't quote me there though, but from the information that I got today was that it ended up going to Team Dignitas that win at the end of Game 1 of the Grand Finals of the Hi-Rez North American Tournament. Let's go ahead and jump into Game number 2. So for game number 2, for Reason Gaming versus Team Dignitas in the Hi-Rez Weekly North American Finals, we see Reason Gaming pick up Bacchus, Tyr, Freya, Loki, and finally Hebo. Their bans for the second game were Athena and Mercury. Very, very common bans right now versus Team Dignitas. And Team Dignitas actually picks up Guan Yu, Hel, Anher, Ra, and Naja. And the bans were Sobek and Jean Kui. So let's go ahead and talk about the second game here of the Grand Finals. The first kill goes down at the mid lane Harpy camp on the left-hand side there, around the second minute mark, where we see Tyr fall to Anher, being played by Zapman, going ahead and giving Team Dignitas up 1-0 very early on. Moving to about the 6-minute mark, we see Reason Gaming actually leading the game 5-3 before going into a great mid team fight. What we see is a pretty decent exchange which ties things up about 6-6 between Team Dignitas and Reason Gaming right around the 12-minute mark. Yet a minute later, we see a great Gold Fury collapse by Reason Gaming with an unexpected results leading us to the 15-minute mark. Let's go ahead and take a look at those results with a quick gameplay clip.
Stuns him under tower range, juggles him. The longer you're waiting, the more damage you're taking. I guarantee at least 60 to 70% of Elastus's HP bar was taken out just by the tower. Ends up falling. Hell caught under tower range as well. And look at that tower. Tower didn't even die. Here's the Gold Fury. Gets picked up by Dignitas. There's a negotiation. Pecky's getting forced on there. Gets picked off. Crushing wave coming through. Naja up in the air. Shadow Q will fall to the Hebo, dropping right back down. Getting picked up there on the last weekend. Going after the best. It's a 3-for-1 exchange. They got the Gold Fury, but at what cost? The best. Do the best he can. There's the Solar Blessing on the ground. Desert Field will pick up Hebo. 3v2 initiation. Stupid getting picked off here. Goes up into there. Valkyrie's Discretion. Dropping down the bombs from above. The best still alive. Does he have a heal? The Loki Assassinate will go through. Does he have an impale? How long will Zapman stick around? The damage is through. Tyr juggle, and he's dead. Zapman yet again. So greedy. Dignitas uncharacteristically diving every situation. Last game and this game, and it's not paying out.
So we see a great job there, actually by Reason Gaming, going ahead and doing a phenomenal job at the Gold Fury there. Goes ahead and puts them at 14-9, leading into about the 15-minute mark. Jumping to the 20-minute mark, though, we go ahead and see Reason Gaming still up about 18-15, so about 3 kills, but the tower difference is astronomical. We go ahead and see Reason Gaming only has 2 towers, whereas Dignitas has 5, giving them a great gold advantage, as well as leading when it comes down to those minion pressures. Going from there, we see another huge exchange win in favor of Team Dignitas at the 23-minute mark with a 3-1 exchange into the Fire Giant pickup, which results in the game falling apart for Reason Gaming, leaving Team Dignitas to go ahead and win game number 2 of the Grand Finals. Let's go ahead and take a look at that last highlight clip.
Incredible. It's a huge heal. And if you're standing in it, you're next to immortal with how much you're getting healed. Add on to that Hell, Ra, and Guan Yu, it's pretty hard. Initiation comes out, last forced into tower range, gonna get killed off immediately. There's the heal on the ground, not in a good spot though. Taki forced back, Shadow Q dropping this down, and until he comes out with the burst damage. Tyr going over the wall at the best, gonna take some damage. Actually, the Desert Fury does next to nothing there. Initiation comes out, Snoopy throwing out some gumballs, see if he can get something done. Blink out, assassinate. Can they get a kill on top of Zam? And pops each Zam weakened, being very weak right now. Pecky's forced into wall, finished off a 2-for-0 exchange. Naja's dead, but they may not be worth it here as they jump over the wall, chasing down Fumble. He's in bandage, they don't know where he is. He's gonna appear, throws out the decoy. They don't care, they got the tower. Blinking for it is talking. Can they get the kill on her? Throws out the impale after a basic attack, and that is gonna be the death there. A 1-for-3 exchange yet again. And just as you predicted there, Naja gets hyper aggressive, dies, heals up his teammates, they win the team fight, and that's the formula, and it seems to be working.
How about that pin from on her into the wall to put the Bacchus into range of the Raw Beam? That was pretty ridiculous. But here we go. It's going to be the Fire Giant attempt, of course. Not too much the reason I say about this outside of some kind of miracle. Snoopy banish into Funball backstab with an aim strike. But with Hand of the Gods 3, not with the running extra. Shadow Q only with Hand of the Gods 2, but that should still be enough. That percentage damage should still be enough to outweigh any kind of aim strike shenanigans here. So they're going to give it a shot, maybe, but it's going to be too little too late as he's going to be insta-killed here now. Funball caught out of position. Some are compromised. They're going to go on Snoopy, who...
Alright guys, so what we end up seeing there is the Fire Giant end up getting taken after that great team fight. And what ends up happening is a huge snowball effect occurs for Team Dignitas over Reason Gaming. They go ahead and take game number 2, and Team Dignitas takes another week of the grand finals of the Hi-Rez North American Tournament. To go ahead and pick an MVP of that game, I'd have to hand it to Zapman, who played as Anher for Team Dignitas. Went 11-4 with a kill-death ratio there. His build, if you're interested, Death Toll, Warrior Tabby, Heartseeker, Quinn Blades, Deathbringer, and he had Beads, and finally Aegis. Taking a look at the Hi-Rez European Weekly, let's go ahead and take a look here. And we do have the European Weekly right here. And as you can see, we ended up having SK Gaming versus F5 in the grand finals. For round, so let's take a look here. For round 1 buys, we had SK Gaming, Mortality EU, and the Fanboys. Keep in mind that the seeding and the fact of getting buys in does come down to your seats. So depending on how you did in the previous week's tournaments, does go ahead and result in, depending on where you end up seeding in the following tournaments as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at the grand finals here of the EU Weekly for Hi-Rez Studios. We ended up having, as I said, SK Gaming versus F5. And what we could see is the route for SK Gaming was a first round bye. They went again against APO Tech, and then finally My Revenge EU. Taking a look for F5, we did go ahead and see F5 face off against Team Kaboom, in round 1, the Fanboys, and finally Mortality Esports EU. Jumping to the grand finals, game number 1 with SK Gaming versus F5, we see SK Gaming pick up Kronos, Artemis, Fenrir, Ymir, and Bakasura. The bands that SK Gaming selected for game number 1 were Agni and Tyr. And for F5, we went ahead and saw Sobek, Hebo, Thanatos, Anher, and Ao being picked up for F5, and the bands they selected was a Zeus and a Jean Kui. Taking a look, F5 comes out strong in this game, being up 5 kills, about 7-2. Yet as we approach mid-game, we actually see Trix Tank actually ends up DCing for F5. Some people mentioned that this was due to a DDoS problem, but we do end up seeing F5 forfeiting not only game number 1, but also game number 2 because they weren't able to go ahead and roster a 5th player as Trix Tanks. So we do see SK Gaming taking the grand finals really easily, but I do want to point out that F5 was beating SK Gaming 7-2 before that DC did occur. So they were doing exceptionally well at rivaling one of the top EU teams out there that does see the grand finals week in and week out. Well, guys, I appreciate you watching the tournament wrap-up show. Please make sure you check out the show next week, October 10th at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern, right here on Smite Game. If you guys have any questions, comments, recommended show topics, feedback, or more, please email it to smitewrapup@gmail.com. If you're interested in checking out more of my Smite content, please go over to OctaneProGaming.com. You can check out my live stream, twitch.tv/OctanePro, SCII or at any time in the Smite game chat, just type !OctanePro, and that'll go ahead and bring up my information. Please also, guys, if you are checking out Smite for the first time and would like to play Smite, it is in open beta, so feel free to go over and sign up and download Smite today at SMITEgame.com, where you can also not only sign up, but also check out Smite news, patch notes, player stats, and much more. Finally, check out Smite over at facebook.com/SmiteGame and twitter.com/SmiteGame. Stay tuned. We're going to do some community viewer games with yours truly, and we're going to do a few 400 gem code giveaways for those of you guys that are hanging out in the chat. I'll see you guys in about 5 minutes. Thanks for watching.